guys were walking, you thought you saw Slender as you were walking?
This was after Morgan.
So then how did you get the knife from Anissa?
She sort of just shoved it into my hand, and there it was.
1-1. What's the address at your emergency?
Waukesha County, Lynn. I'm transferring over a caller on Big Bend. That's a dead end just south of Rivera.
Okay.
Came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
It's May 31st, 2014, a normal, typical day for Waukesha, Wisconsin. In Davids Park, 3 young teens, Anissa Wire, Morgan Geyser, and Peyton Leutner, were playing hide-and-seek. However, their fun game would soon take a dark turn, and Wire and Geyser would be the only 2 leaving the park. This is the story of how 2 teens tried to sacrifice their closest friend to appease a fictional character known as Slenderman. Waukesha, Wisconsin. Peyton Isabella Leutner, also known as Bella, and her childhood best friend Morgan Geyser attended school together and were particularly close. Leutner had initially met Geyser in the 5th grade after spotting Geyser sitting alone one day. Geyser had struggled to make friends, and Leutner felt that it was wrong for anyone to be sitting alone. Eventually, the 2 girls would also become friends with Anissa Wire. Wire lived in the same apartment building as Geyser, and the 2 of them would have a shared interest in creepypastas, and more specifically, a character known as Slenderman. However, Leutner did not share their passion for the character and instead found it to be horrifying. Still, though, she didn't exactly want to get in the way of her friends' interests, so she decided to be supportive of them. At some point, though, when Leutner felt that the stories had gone too far, she asked Geyser to stop talking about Slenderman and even considered ending their friendship entirely. Leutner had felt that Geyser had changed dramatically upon meeting Wire and felt uncomfortable about Wire but did not want to end the friendship herself. Leutner did not like Wire very much and felt that Wire was jealous of Geyser and Leutner's friendship. The idea of a creepypasta came about to describe the idea of internet horror stories, being a portmanteau of 2 words, creepy and copypasta, with copypasta referring to any sort of viral copy-pasted text. Creepypastas in general can be anything the creator wants it to be, from images to stories. The concept of the creepypasta itself started around the 1990s, when chain emails containing creepy and unsettling messages were posted on forums all over the internet. One of the earliest identifiable creepypastas was called Ted the Caver, being the story of a man named Ted who explored a creepy cave with several friends. The term itself would not be coined until the early 2000s over on a website known as 4chan. From there, creepypastas would continue to grow in popularity, with a website launching in 2008 called creepypasta.com, and afterwards, a wiki for creepypastas would be created as well. Slenderman as a character would make its first documented appearance around June 10, 2009 on a website known as Something Awful. Something Awful is an American website that hosts forums, blogs, and has been cited as a major influence on internet culture and internet virality. Slenderman was created by a man named Eric Knudsen as a part of a Photoshop contest where contestants had to create paranormal images using Photoshop. Knudsen used the pseudonym Victor Surge and entered the contest using a photo of children with a tall, thin, white-faced, strange figure wearing a black suit. For the most part, entries were mainly photographs. However, Knudsen went a bit further and added some text to give some lore and backstory to his photo entry. Knudsen had been inspired by a lot of different horror and paranormal stories, including The Insidious Beast by Zach Parsons, Stephen King's The Mist, and H.P. Lovecraft. Additionally, video games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil were inspirations behind the creation of Slenderman. After Victor Surge posted his Slenderman photos, they became very viral very quickly. Fan art, cosplay, and creepypasta stories started to spread about Slenderman. Some of the most notable works were things like an ARG titled Marble Hornets on YouTube with tens of millions of views, and a 2012 video game known as Slender. The 8 Pages, which grew viral quickly after multiple YouTubers did Let's Play content about it. Many stories about Slenderman featured him attacking younger children and adults who would be driven insane to act on his behalf. Geyser and Wire's friendship would continue to grow, and so too did their obsession with the Slenderman character. At some point, they would begin to believe that somehow Slenderman was real, and not only that, but they were convinced that he would kill their families if they did not properly offer him some sort of sacrifice. So, they morbidly hatched a plot to deliver Slenderman a sacrifice. The plan was to invite Leutner to Geyser's 12th birthday party, and then, while she slept, sacrifice her to Slenderman and escape to the woods to join him. The day of May 31st, 2014 came around. Leutner, Wire, and Geyser would hang out for Geyser's 12th birthday party. They headed to a local roller rink and had frozen yogurt before heading home for the slumber party. During their past sleepovers, it was a habit for Geyser to want to stay up all night since she wasn't typically allowed to do so. However, on that particular night, Geyser wanted to go to bed. As Leutner slept, Geyser and Wire would change their plans and decide that they would kill her the next morning instead. Leutner woke up and the three had donuts before heading out to the park. Geyser was usually not allowed to go to the park alone, but Geyser's mother had decided to let the three go on their own since it was supposed to be a birthday party. Once the three reached the park, the plan shifted and Wire suggested they go for a walk to play hide-and-seek in the woods nearby. Wire then instructed Leutner to lie on the ground and covered her in sticks and leaves, pretending that it was a strategy to hide. However, it was all a ruse to get her to lie down. Wire and Geyser then attacked Leutner with a knife, pinning her to the ground and stabbing her 19 times across multiple parts of her body. She would suffer wounds to 2 major organs, but one wound would miss her heart's major artery by less than a millimeter. Afterwards, Geyser and Wire told Leutner that they would go and get help for her, but, of course, they never returned to the forest. Leutner would drag herself to a nearby road where a cyclist found her and called emergency services.
111. What's the address of your emergency?
Waukesha County, Lincoln. I'm transferring over a caller on Big Bend. That's a dead end just south of Rivera.
Okay.
Came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed.
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, are you still there?
Yes.
Hi, sir. So, are you with this 12-year-old female?
Yeah, she says she's having trouble breathing. She said she was stabbed multiple times.
Stabbed multiple times?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Are you with her right now?
Yes.
Is she awake?
She's awake.
Is she breathing?
Yeah, she's breathing. She said she can take shallow breaths.
Okay, flag that officer down. I'm going to let you go. Okay? You meet with him right now, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
For over 24 years as a cop in the city of Waukesha, and I have not seen a crime of this nature, especially when you take into account it was 12-year-old girls.
12-year-old Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire are accused of attempted murder of their 12-year-old friend when police say they lured her into the woods and stabbed her 19 times, leaving her for dead.
These are the woods where the stabbing actually happened. It's several blocks away from the park where all of this began. The victim was able to get to this area here where the bicyclist found her nearly dead.
She was within a millimeter of her life.
She had just barely survived. 5 hours after the attack, Wire and Geyser were caught near I-94 at Steinhoffel's furniture store. They had walked nearly 5 miles from the forest and had kept the knife on them in a bag. Their plan was apparently to meet Slenderman at his mansion called Slender Mansion in the Nicolet National Forest. For context, this forest is about a 200-mile hike from their original location. Police would proceed to interview the 2 teens, with both of them sharing the sentiment that the attack was needed to appease Slenderman.
Who stabbed her first?
I think Anissa stabbed first, and then I continued, and then she was like, Morgan, make sure she doesn't escape. She told me that she got her in the lung right here 6 times, and then in the leg a few times. So we told her we were gonna get help, but we really weren't. We were gonna run and let her pass away. So we ran.
Did you get the knife from Anissa?
she sort of just shoved it into my hand, and there it was. And then I didn't know what I did. It sort of just happened. It didn't feel like anything. It was like...
When you guys were walking, you thought you saw Slender as you were walking?
This was after Morgan stabbed her. And he has tendrils that are very sharp.
Do you see him in your dreams, or where do you see him at?
Oh, I've seen him in my dreams.
Evidence presented in court shows what was found in Morgan Geyser's bedroom. Dozens of disturbing drawings and numerous disfigured Barbie dolls, many with the Slenderman symbol on them. All proof, the defense team says, the girls truly believe Slenderman is real.
Truth be told, I wanted to be locked up so that I couldn't hurt her, but that time has passed, and now I'm in here because we were careless. I knew this would happen. I knew we'd get in trouble.
Police say Geyser and Wire plotted for months the best way to kill their friend. According to authorities, they first plotted to duct tape her mouth and stab her in the neck, then changed their plans to lure her into the woods while playing a game of hide and seek.
Leutner would survive and recover, returning to school a few months later in September 2014. However, she was left with lasting trauma, being unable to sleep in her own room for a while. Upon hearing the motive for the attack, Leutner wasn't surprised and said that Geyser believed deeply in the idea of Slenderman and was willing to do anything for the fictional character. Geyser would be charged with attempted first-degree homicide, and Wire was charged with attempted second-degree homicide. They would be tried as though they were adults due to the nature of their crimes. Throughout the trial, mental health was a major topic of discussion. Apparently, while growing up, Geyser had experienced a myriad of hallucinations. She allegedly saw things like ghosts, colors melting down walls, and imaginary friends, which she named Maggie and Sev. One hallucination Geyser had seen was of a man she named It, that apparently had a body of the color of smoke and ink that stood behind him in mirrors or shifted around corners in a way that was very similar to Slenderman. Geyser's mother told police that Geyser was floridly psychotic. Correctional officers had seen Geyser talking to herself quite often. She also apparently pretended to be a cat and kept ants as pets. She would see things like unicorns and had conversations with fictional characters like Slenderman and Severus Snape. By fall 2014, Geyser had been moved to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute as a result of these observations in order to determine if she was competent enough to stand trial, and she eventually was. In 2017, Wire pleaded guilty to being a party in attempted second-degree homicide. Wire would accept a plea deal, allowing her to not go to trial in exchange for her being evaluated by psychiatrists. The psychiatrists would ultimately determine how long she would need to be placed in a mental hospital. Geyser would plead guilty eventually, but she was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. She was then diagnosed with schizophrenia. Investigators would also uncover that Geyser's father also suffered from schizophrenia. Wire would be sentenced to 25 years to life for her involvement in the crime. This involved at least 3 years locked in confinement with involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric institute and then communal supervision until she reached the age of 37. Geyser was given a much harsher sentence, facing a maximum of 40 to life in custody of some capacity. Geyser would also have at least 3 years locked in confinement with involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric institute until her symptoms went away or she reached the age of 53, whichever came first. After this, Geyser would need to be communally supervised with periodic reevaluations and/or reinstitution and further treatment as required. The Slenderman character itself became a subject of extreme controversy following the stabbing. The Slenderman creator, Eric Knudsen, said that he was deeply saddened by what happened to Leutner, and the creepypasta wiki with information on Slenderman was blocked by the Waukesha School District. Members of the creepypasta community held a 24-hour live stream on YouTube from June 13th to June 14th, 2014 in order to raise money for Leutner. On August 12, 2014, then-Governor Scott Walker issued a proclamation declaring August 13, 2014, Purple Hearts for Healing Day and encouraged people to wear purple to honor Leutner. He also praised Leutner's strength and determination during her recovery. The city of Madison, Wisconsin held a Bratwurst Festival on August 29th to honor her and raise money for her medical costs. Over $70,000 in total was raised, and the event was run by over 250 volunteers. There were many media representations and adaptations of the event, such as a documentary on HBO titled Beware the Slenderman. Law and Order Special Victims Unit had an episode titled Glasgowman's Wrath, which was loosely based on the Slenderman stabbing. Later, on September 13, 2021, Wire was released, but she had multiple stipulations and restrictions for her release. She would need to wear a 24-hour GPS monitor, and she would not be allowed to leave Waukesha without permission. She would have her internet usage monitored and was restricted from any form of social media. She would be on medication and would have to be escorted by caseworkers to counseling sessions. Additionally, a stipulation required her to live with her father. While on probation, she would not be permitted to live alone. The Leutners told ABC News that they were disappointed about the decision to release Wire and that they wished she had served a longer sentence. However, they did say that they were reasonably comfortable with Wire's rules. As for Geyser, in 2020, she petitioned an appeals court to be retried as a juvenile, but was denied. Attorney Matthew Pinnix argued that Geyser should have been charged with attempted second-degree intentional homicide rather than first-degree, and argued that Geyser made statements to investigators before being read any Miranda rights. The Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to hear the petition to review the ruling in 2021. In January 2024, Geyser petitioned to be released from the Winnebago Institute, but a judge denied this request in April 2024. However, in April 2025, a court approved the move after 3 psychologists noted considerable progress in Geyser's treatment. In February 2025, Geyser's hearing for possible release was canceled due to new allegations that she had engaged in violent communication with a man outside the facility and had been reading a book that contained themes of sadism and murder. Geyser's lawyer denied inappropriate conduct, and the 3 psychologists did not change their opinion. On July 17, 2025, a judge would sign a conditional plan to release Geyser, who was 22 at that point. She was scheduled to live in a group home and remain under supervision until 2058 and undergo periodic reevaluations. Officials, however, found difficulty in placing Geyser in a group home. An initial placement in Milwaukee was denied due to its close proximity to Leutner, and a second attempt at a Manitowoc group home was denied due to the building being isolated and the residents being unhappy about this. Geyser would eventually be successfully housed at a group home in Madison, Wisconsin. However, the story doesn't end there. On November 23, 2025, at around 8 a.m., a 911 call alerted the Madison Police Department that Geyser had disappeared from the group home and had cut off her ankle bracelet. Geyser would have last been seen at 8 p.m. the previous evening alongside a trans woman named Charlie Mecca. The following day, local police in Posen, Illinois, found Geyser and Mecca sleeping outside a Thornton's gas station alongside I-57, nearly 200 miles away. Geyser and Mecca would identify themselves to police as Stephanie Grease and Charles M. Robertson, but would later give their legal names.
I didn't know what to look like. I fed them. So I was calling to see, can they get somewhere for the night?
Yeah, and the thing is, there ain't a lot of shelters. that's what's crazy. Then we're gonna arrest you and take you an ID. We're gonna hold you an ID at the station for fingerprints. So you don't want to obstruct an officer. Give me your name and date of birth. You're not wanted for murder, right?
Right.
Well, then you ain't gonna have a problem with us. I promise you. Okay? You're making it a bigger deal than it is.
For Silver King, Morgan E. Geyser, criminal record.
Go ahead and put your hand in.
You said I could say
I will
goodbye.
let you. You guys going to the same place, okay?
I promise you didn't know.
Okay.
You're home again.
Apparently, Geyser had befriended Mecca at a church in Madison a few months after being released and complained of mistreatment in the group home. Mecca had been denied visitation with Geyser several times, so she would sneak in to meet Geyser on multiple occasions. The two would develop a plan to escape to Nashville, Tennessee by bus, and once Geyser escaped, they met in the church parking lot and took a bus to Chicago and then another bus to Posen, where they ran out of money and stopped at the gas station to sleep for the night. Mecca was charged with criminal trespassing and obstructing identification but was released from custody. Both Geyser and Mecca are expecting a court hearing as of the writing of this video.
They captured video of Geyser and her companion with their body cameras.
I don't want to give you my name.
Authorities say Geyser cut off the ankle monitoring device the day before and escaped the group home she was staying at in Madison, Wisconsin. That prompted a nationwide manhunt. Geyser's companion told our Milwaukee affiliate by phone that she was determined to escape.
She already made it clear if I didn't go with her or not, she was still going, and she was not going back to jail.
Slenderman as a character eventually lost its popularity, and the flair it once held as a massive name online was seemingly gone. Many blogs devoted to Slenderman were shut down or lost a lot of their original traffic. A Slenderman movie released in August 2018, but it was a box office flop that many did not like at all. It had been announced in 2016, but generated controversy, with many accusing the filmmakers of attempting to capitalize off of the Waukesha stabbing. Sony representatives insisted that the film was based off of the fictional character. The movie was not very popular at all, as indicated by its dramatically low performance at the box office. The Verge's Carly Veloci even called the movie a nail in the coffin of a dying fandom. Since then, Slenderman has become something of an idea of internet folklore. Its legacy now has been tainted by the incident, but it largely remains within its own fandoms online, lurking ever presently in the background. As for Leutner, she would eventually attend college and is working towards becoming a therapist with a specialization in trauma and PTSD. As of the recent escape incident involving Geyser, the Leutner family released a statement that they were working closely with local law enforcement to ensure their continued safety. They also thanked their family, friends, and other supporters who contacted them throughout the ordeal.
I just want to let Bella and her family know I'm sorry. I never meant this to happen.
She was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect and was sentenced to up to 40 years in a psychiatric institution.
No, because if they ever come near me, they're going right back in. When they get out, I don't think it's going to change my life at all.
Geyser spent most of her sentence in a mental health institution before being placed in a group home earlier this year. It was a move authorities opposed, and the Waukesha County District Attorney today said she hopes Geyser will be returned to the institution. In a statement, she says her alleged actions this past weekend only reinforce our position that a conditional release is not appropriate at this time.